to the Rocky is the greatest sports franchise fan club.
Well, do you not consider Fast and Furious a sports films?
They haven't been a sports film since like the second one.
Fair enough.
We are here. That's gonna be our intro. I'll leave that in.
All right.
We are here. Welcome back. Hello. Didn't see you there. Almost missed you. We are back talking about the newest installment in the Rocky franchise, quote unquote franchise / Creed franchise.
Ant-Man Quantumania.
Anthem. Yeah. It was a coin flip between which one we should talk about, and for the sake of being less, I guess we didn't really want to come on here for an hour and a half and be naggers.
We saw both and decided Creed was far more.
We didn't want to
worth
beat a
talking
dead
about.
horse that we've done multiple
This is
times.
actually just a Jonathan Majors
So
podcast, actually.
Really, we just had our Jonathan Majors fix. Now we just need to watch Devotion, and we've done the holy trifecta of 2023. But no, we're going to talk about Creed 3, which we just recently went to go watch. Before we begin with that, though, James, opening remarks on the Creed / Rocky franchises. Because even though they're the same umbrella, I think, and this starts with Ryan Coogler in the first one, they are distinct franchises.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was definitely hesitant for the first Creed movie because
As was I.
it felt like a gimmick.
Yeah.
At a time where we get so many sequels and reboots, I'm like, look, the Rocky has enough bad sequels. We just had Rocky Balboa 2, so just kind of, maybe cool it a little bit. But I remember being not offended by it as far back as I can remember.
That's a word to use. That is a word to use.
I feel like, in the age of reboots for older franchises, I thought that Creed was probably the best modernization that you could have gotten, considering boxing movies are not by any means outdated.
Yeah.
And there have been plenty, even before Creed, that you can contend with. You were just talking about Southpaw. There's The Fighter as well, I think about.
And my personal favorite, Grudge Match.
Yeah, sure. Grudge Match too. Shout out to, was that Robert De Niro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Stallone.
But no, I remember at the time, I liked it quite a bit. Creed 2, I felt like was just as well, but maybe I was just a little tired of sequels for everything by that point. But I will say that I've always appreciated the movies, if anything, just for how like clean and slick they are.
Yeah.
They're definitely very good modern boxing movies, more than anything.
We're in, we're out.
Yep.
It's a never-ending roller coaster.
It's just cut and dry.
There's not really a lot of dead weight, not a lot of bloated movies.
Yeah.
Which is why I was really surprised this movie was 2 hours. I think it was actually less. I think it was like an hour 57 or whatever. Because most movies nowadays is like, if you're not hitting 2:15, are you even a movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just go on television.
Yeah.
So when I saw 2 hours, I was like, awesome. We're gonna be able to leave the theater when it's still sunny.
It's sunny outside. Yeah.
But yeah, I hold the Creed movies. I think we share the same opinions as far as the Rocky movie. We were actually talking about what our favorite Rocky is. We both have the correct answer, which is Rocky 4. And for some reason, though, I think the Creed movies, the emotion just hits different.
Yeah.
I don't know what it
For
is.
sure.
I don't know. Maybe it's because, we're, 40, 50 odd years removed from the first Rocky.
Yeah.
So, like,
We're not of that
we are
age
not
group.
raised. Yeah, we
Yeah.
weren't in that generation of people who watched movies when that first came out. We kind of see that movie through, like, our
This is an
parents
older film.
and our grandparents'
Yeah.
eyes, and older people. But for this is like our target demographic. So when
Yeah.
like Every time I know the theme is coming. I know it's gonna hit at the end when he hits somebody in the face. I just know it's happening, and every time I'm still like, every time it hits me every time, and it says something when you can do that 3 times. I know it's
Yeah.
coming each of those 3 times, and it still gets to me.
Well, I think like for me, and this movie is definitely, along with the other ones, sometimes with sport films and television as well. It's sometimes, how do I want to word this? I will definitely say what I appreciate about the Creed movies is that they just feel real.
Yeah,
They feel a lot more, and I give a lot of credit to Michael B. Jordan for that. His performance of Creed in all these films just feels like a real dude. Like oftentimes in sports movies, even underdog stories, there's always this like heroic element to them. This person who just they always had it in them to begin with. And with Creed, I just maybe it's because I just see Michael B. Jordan. I'm like, that's just a guy.
that's a bro.
Yeah, not just that he's just a cool dude. I'm like, I know Michael was in the gym every single goddamn day. Either for preparation or there's something about just the extra effort I feel that just makes them come across more like I know these people, you know?
And it helps that the people around, the characters around him, are also personable.
Yeah.
Whether it's Tessa Thompson
Yeah.
in all 3 movies, who is every time I see her in a Creed movie, I'm like, God damn, she should be one of the greatest actresses of all time. Like we should be talking about her more. Or Rocky in the first 2.
yeah.
It-
Which I feel like is just a Sylvester Stallone touch. Like he's in all the Rocky movies. I feel like that's really something that they've always had going for them. We were talking about that during the Valentine's Day episode, where there's just that relationship between him and Adrian, where you're just like, this is real.
And he's the
about it is
same
so
guy
grounded.
through every single movie. He's
Yeah.
like goofball that we don't understand what he's saying like 20% of the time. But you just, for some reason, you're just attached to his charm. It's weird.
Yeah.
And that's in most. I was watching Tulsa King, that new show he's in. And it's in that movie. It's in that show too. It's
Yeah.
just a Stallone special that we get out of him.
He just does that well.
Yeah.
He does that well.
I'll
So
say
I-
this right off the bat though. This movie, the one thing it missed for me, no Stallone.
Yeah.
I needed something. There was just something, and maybe that's what they're trying to do with the trilogy / whatever they do beyond this is like they want to, establish Michael B. Jordan as the elder
Yeah.
statesman.
That's what I was thinking.
Understandable. Also, Stallone is getting up there in age. It's kind of hard to put him in in front of a camera these
Yeah.
days.
They're gonna have to like what they did for Top Gun Maverick, kind of just grandfather him in and be like,
Yeah.
That's okay, Val Kilmer.
Um,
But no,
anyways.
I definitely I feel like this movie could have been more explicit about its intention in terms of the entire franchise. Because leaving the theater, I'm like, there's just 2 scenes where they show the daughter boxing.
yeah.
And I'm like, if you want to make that the 4th movie, like, I get that. That's the next logical step. But, like, within this film, do more with that. If I watched all 3 of these films, back to back to back, there's enough storyline consistently with Michael B. Jordan's character and his relationship with, like, Tessa Thompson, for example, that I'm just like, there's something there, right? You get a character throughout all 3 movies. But if you start making 4th one and 5th one, it's like this film doesn't feel like there's anything necessarily to build off of going forward. Unless you bring back Jonathan Major, make him a character. But I don't. There was no indication whatsoever that.
Because even with the first one, they littered. he loses the first one. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler
so it's
alert
like,
for a movie
okay,
that
cool.
came out.
He made a name for himself. Let's see where it goes. The second one,
He lost the fight, but he won the night.
and then the second one, he beats Drago. And Rocky's like, all right, it's your turn to shine. Now you're like, oh, cool. Now Rocky's going to step out from Rocky's shadow. We're going to see what happens next. And now they did a Fast and Furious where they ended it, but it's also like, we're going to come out with a sequel.
Yeah.
We know the sequel's coming. But we did nothing absolutely to hint at a sequel.
Yeah.
Which I guess is,
just how franchises work now.
just
really.
how they do things, you know. But
Mhm.
it'll be interesting to see a fourth one. I think I'm excited for a fourth one.
Hesitantly excited.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, that's understandable. So for this film, at least, do you feel like the last movie came out in 2018, which feels like so long
Long
ago?
time ago.
But honestly, I felt like they probably had too much time pass between the two films.
What makes you say that?
I feel like the position that Creed was in the beginning of this movie, uh, and maybe it's because of the story of this film, him having to fight his childhood friend. Not a spoiler alert, that's just the plot.
It's in
I
the
don't know.
trailer.
Yeah, it felt like there was just he started with everything to lose. Where usually you only get to that point when you're at like your lowest point and
Yeah.
you're like I have nowhere else to go from here. He starts from a point where he already has everything. And so I don't know, I feel like from the beginning I was more interested in how Jonathan Majors' character would develop throughout the film. And so I almost felt like, to a certain degree, I don't know if you felt this way, Creed almost comes across as the antagonist for some of this
Oh, are
movie.
we about to do a Karate Kid? Daniel is actually the bully episode.
Yeah. I don't know.
By the way,
But,
he wasn't the bully.
I don't know how you felt about it, but
It everything is take because it's the classic drama or tragedy where it's you have everything, you lose it all, you have to gain it back, but it's not anything tangible,
yeah.
right? Like he doesn't lose a belt, he doesn't lose his wife, he loses. I'm not gonna spoil that, but he loses his pride along the way, which I think is something that you don't really see a lot of sports movies touch up on. Losing, you see a lot of like gaining pride, right? And coming back, but you don't really see just losing the pride. It's usually like Southpaw, right? He loses his wife, the daughter is in a group home or foster home. He's evicted, he has nowhere to go. His trainer hates him. He wants to kill himself, and then he gains his pride again through gaining all that back. This one is just like, yo, you look like a little B-word.
Yeah. You're just like, he's just such a clown.
Yeah, you're getting slapped in the middle of the beach. Like,
I don't know. I feel like, no, I agree that there's a weird intangible element to the conflict in this film where it's a weird combination of the characters feel like real people. Everybody knocks their performance out of the park. I feel like these people talk like real people do in real life. I feel like I rarely ever get that from a film. But the actual conflict between Creed and his friend Damien, I was trying to remember the nickname they gave him. Diamond Dame, I think it was.
Diamond Dame.
But yeah, between Creed and Damien, it felt... If this was an actual rivalry in real life, people would say that this was forced.
You're talking about
Like if the rivalry between the two was an actual rivalry that people were expected to buy into in real life, people would either say there's not enough there, feels like it's happening too fast. It's just kind of forced conflict for the sake of championship.
maybe.
That's how.
But also, most people don't see everything behind the scenes.
Most people don't see everything behind the scenes. But the fact that I feel that way, having seen everything behind the scenes, still says a lot about... And by the way, I'm going to give this movie a positive rating by the end of it. I actually really like this film.
Yeah.
But I just can't put my finger on what it was.
What was missing?
Too, yeah. And maybe it is the fact that it feels like Creed... Like, he gets slapped in the face, and he's like, I feel like a bitch now. And then he slaps him back, and he's like, all right, I'm on top. And I'm like, is this the conflict they taught me about in school? I don't know.
It's a lot of introspective and
Yeah.
dealing with emotions, which, you know, I don't think we're used to seeing in a sports movie. And
I'll
I
say,
actually commend
yeah, in
them
a
for
weird
doing
way. I mean,
because it feels like, I'll just get this point out.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
immediately thought of this like halfway through the movie. The sports are like a backdrop.
yeah,
It is Shakespearean introspective drama told, and instead of, you know, in the Netherlands or Holland 19
whenever.
019 or whatever, it's like, no, they're fighting in a boxing arena.
You know what's actually really funny about that? That's probably true because I don't know if you felt this way, but I mean, I don't know if I want to spoil anything or not, but at the end of the film, it actually felt cathartic.
Mhm.
Or I was like, okay, we got that out of our system.
I feel like I went through therapy.
Yeah. I was
I
like,
can't imagine what Adonis was feeling.
say what you want about like people having to take their anger out through violence, but like that felt good.
Which is
Like-
funny because when they have a big argument, she mentions that, like, that you need something, an outlet.
Yeah.
And it's, in a way, it's kind of negating
I wouldn't say
the
it's-
idea of going to therapy, because it's like, I'm telling you to get help that's in safer
Yeah.
means, and then you
Don't
just
fight
don't
him.
do it.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like to a certain extent, I mean, let's be real. People do that because it is the outlet for them.
Yeah.
Like you can't take that away from either the professionals or the people who just do it for a hobby, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, to what degree can you say, hey, you don't have to punch people. You can actually feel your emotions. But I don't know. To me, by the end of this film, it was kind of like, no. That's how you do it. If that's how you do it, you know, as long as you're not punching strangers or people who you love, by all means, you know.
Or your wife's
Yeah, go to the gym.
Dana White.
Take it out from you there. But yeah, in a weird way, I feel like because by like the midpoint in this movie, when they had the scene on the beach, I was like, that's how the film's gonna end. He's okay. Spoiler alert. Maybe spoiler alert. Maybe not spoiler alert. If you're gonna watch the movie on your own, don't watch past
Just
this
skip
point.
ahead like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
next
yeah.
minute.
But I was like, he's gonna lose the fight at the end. Michael B.
I
B.
did
Jordan.
that thought did cross my mind.
I was like, this is a story about how he just has to get humbled,
Yeah.
you know? And oddly enough, even though he wins the fight at the end, I'm like, all right, he got humbled still somehow. The math doesn't math, but I feel it, you know? I don't know. It's so weird.
Smart.
Which, okay, for all you who skipped ahead, we won't spoil it anymore from here on out. So here's what I want to talk about. When I went into this film, I was curious. I love Michael B. Jordan as an actor.
Yes.
So many things he's been in. I think he's fantastic. And like I said, he did great in this film. He also directed this movie. And I was trying to pay super close attention to just how he handled it. And I have one single complaint, but I'm curious, compared to the other Creed movies or just anything else you've seen Michael B. Jordan in, how do you think he did?
I think
Directorial
he
date.
did really well.
Yeah.
He does a lot of cool things with, like, the camera as far as symbolism goes. There's a specific shot. They're in the locker room, and there is a wall dividing the two characters. And this is a quasi spoiler alert, but it's like not that big of a spoiler.
Yeah. It's probably a shot in the trailer.
But they both, it's a little cheesy, little dramatic.
Kind of on the nose.
Yeah, but they look through the wall at each other, and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
When you see it, you understand the context of it a little better, and I think it works. But it's just showing, like, oh, this relationship is changing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a lot of stuff like that. There's a lot of talking through reflections. Like, there's a scene where
yeah.
Tessa Thompson and Michael B. Jordan are talking to each other through the mirror, and the camera's focused. They're not in focus. The reflection is in focus, which just shows, like,
which probably plays into the introspection.
Yeah.
Talking
Yeah,
to
it's
yourself.
they're trying to let their inner selves out and speak to one another, and it's
Mhm.
like, oh man, that's really I've never seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that in a sports movie. That level of dedication
Oneness. Yeah.
and you know meaning, I guess, behind the shots, for lack of a better word. It's little stuff like that where I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then there's scenes where I'm like, okay, you're on a tripod, two shot,
yeah.
reverse shot. It's like, I get it, right? You know, you pick your battles. You know, you got
Yeah.
budgets. You know, we can't use the crane all 45 days.
That's what I was thinking. Where I was like, hey, Michael, just because it's called close up doesn't mean you have to
there
get
are a lot of that
close
where I'm
up.
like, oh man, what is? Dude,
I can see your blackheads on your face.
What director was he watching that week that does that?
Oh, yeah, that's my only complaint too. Is I'm just like, close ups are going to be close up. You can see people's contact lens. That's all I'm saying. But
Yeah.
it's like,
If I can see the reflection in the eyes
yeah,
of the camera.
yeah, you see the ring light in their eyes or something like that. But no, honestly, I feel like he did a really, really good job. And I was thinking, like, a boxing movie is probably one of the most difficult things you can
Yeah.
choose because,
Especially as a debut.
yeah, the final fight scene is really, really well shot. I can't imagine either the amount of planning they had to do or the amount of coverage they had to shoot for that. Because
Yeah.
every punch, you got to get that angle just right. And I think there was only like 2 shots in the entire final fight scene where I was like, nah, he didn't hit him. But other than that, I think in the first Rocky movie, I remember this distinctly. They used the bulb flash from all of the cameras in the audience, and they used that to hide the cuts between punches.
Yeah.
Now you can't do that, mostly because we don't use those cameras anymore, unless for some reason people had their flash on at an event like that.
Who puts flash on an event?
Yeah, and so without that help, we were talking about this also on the way to the theater. In the past, they used oneers to try to, not just get you focused on the actual length of the shot, but just to make it feel more like you're in that moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like even though they don't do that in this film, he still did a good job of having the coverage for every punch while still making it feel in the moment. All those super cool, slow-mo shots and all of the motion tracked kind of stuff.
It's frenetic, but you still understand where you're at.
Yeah, yeah. And in a boxing movie, the legibility is definitely you don't have the advantage of an actual like top-down view that you get on UFC, Although I would have, if he had the balls to do that, that would have been insane.
Just release the whole 12th round fight.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's another thing too. I think that was brilliant. I think that was whether it was. That was such a smart decision. I think, in terms of the storytelling, that whole sequence in the final fight where they just the whole world trying to explain this in a way that doesn't spoil it. The whole world, everyone else zones out, and they just are so focused in on each other. When they come out of that moment and they're like, "It's the end of round 11," I'm like,
Yeah.
we were just on 2.
Yeah.
Hold up. That I thought was
Because it's like a 4-minute thing, and you're like,
yeah,
yo, is this round over yet?
yeah. I'm like, that I think was such a smart way to do that. As far as I know, none of the other films do that.
No, because it's usually like two punches, card showing,
Yeah.
person showing round 3.
Yeah.
Two punches, person showing round 6.
Yeah, slow mo.
Yeah.
Head getting hit. And the actual the way that they zone out, I guess I would say, is super cool. Visually, not just that the effects are done well, but the way that their backstory plays into that scene. They don't go as far as I wish they did, But I thought it was very well done. Yeah. If they turned into their younger selves and started boxing each other, that would have been perfect. But it only gets close.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just cool to watch.
It's a really well made movie.
Yeah. That being said, though, in terms of our complaints that I would have, in terms of the story of this film, there's one too many subplots
Yes.
that just don't really go
I agree.
anywhere. I think the daughter getting into boxing should have been emphasized far greater than it, because that's basically, I assuming, the future of the franchise right there. So I feel like they should have done a bigger push on that. Even then, there's the debates between Creed and his wife about, like, they just hint at she doesn't want her to learn how to fight, and he's like, she has to protect herself. And then it doesn't come up again. And I'm just like, that's like, build that more, give us more of that.
Yeah.
And then the third thing I'll say is, as much as I thought that Jonathan Major did a good job, that character was so underdeveloped, in my opinion. He played it fantastically. And he actually seems like a real person who I have met in real life. But a character in a movie, I don't know, man. I just wanted more from it. I don't know how you felt.
But does he need to be more developed? It's a guy who's been locked up for 18 years and feels like
Yeah.
he's been abandoned by the world, so he's coming to take back what's his.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why I wish that the fight between them at the end had even more emphasis on their childhood together,
Yeah.
because it just would have not just added more weight to the fight, but justified the lack of flashbacks that we actually get.
Yeah.
The lack of backstory that is given to them. Because literally, there's a scene where Michael B. Jordan is like, I'm not talking about it. I'm not going to, it's dead, it's done. And then it's dead, it's done. It gets mentioned one more time. He tells a story, we don't even see it. And that's it. And I'm like, you should have brought that out. It would have been over the top, but that's what it needed. Just that one extra push.
I actually feel the opposite. I feel like we got just the right amount.
Really?
Yeah.
That's understandable, honestly.
Because I feel like if you start doing it, I mean, by the time that he talks about it, we have a pretty distinct picture of what went down.
We do.
And then we understand why Jonathan Majors feels the way that he does. 'Cause
No.
it's like, I did this to back you up, and you did me dirty,
Yeah.
in a way. That's how he feels.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't agree with what you're saying, but I can see how you can rationalize that thought process.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. It's weird. I agree. I still wish they did more.
You wish they would have just done it?
I
Just
really
full-
wish that they just
full-on
full
melodrama?
set. Yep.
Okay, fair enough.
Full
I respect.
send.
I respect.
Put all that melodrama behind it.
I respect.
Because I don't know. That's just for some reason the way that I feel about
Personal flavor.
it. Yeah. Just personally, what I would have done. You know, I'm just built different, maybe.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Tessa Thompson, Michael B. Jordan. They're Bianca and Adonis.
Mm-hmm.
Greatest on-screen couple of all time?
Do they beat Adrian and Rocky?
I think they do. I was thinking about this while I was watching them have their heart-to-heart.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is better than anything we ever saw at Adrian and Rocky. And I love
Yeah.
Adrian and Rocky. We spent the entire...
We spent like 30 minutes.
we spent an entire segment on the Valentine's Day episode talking about how much we love them. But I'm just sitting there and I'm like, this is growth.
Yeah.
This is mature a mature relationship being shown in front of our eyes. We saw the beginning, the genesis. We saw each step of the way. We saw the beginning of the relationship, how they evolve as far as like them starting their own careers and them learning about each other and this and that. And then the second one, we see, okay, they're at the top of the world. They're having, they're expecting a child. Changes are happening in their lives. But also, he's got to go fight this Russian. And then this movie, it's like, okay, we're solid, we're stable. The past comes into our lives, and now we have to adapt. We have to talk about it. I have to try and get you into therapy because I don't want you to die in the ring. And it's like, this is good. This is good.
Yeah, it's weird that we don't really see
The most mature adult relationship I've ever seen in a sports movie.
for sure
Absurd.
in a sports movie. I was gonna
Because
say
all of their conflict is organic. It makes sense. Why they would argue about certain things.
yeah.
Like it from a couple perspective. It's never like, classic miscommunication of like,
I was just gonna say
oh, I can't tell you, or like
it comes across more like their personalities and their own world views clashing more than just miscommunication about a certain thing.
Right.
Like him not wanting to talk about his past isn't just because he was going to, but then he got distracted and she misread this one thing. It's like, no, he is firm of that he doesn't want to do it, and she is firm that he has to do it, and they compromise, which
and that's established in the first movie because he doesn't want to be known as Creed.
yeah.
So it's like, okay, he doesn't like talking about what he came from, like all that.
The father's legacy.
Yeah. So when it pops up this movie, you're like, oh, this is
he would
great.
react that way in real life.
Yeah.
Which is probably why at the end of the day, for some of these story issues or lack of, I feel like a lot of development that I got out of this film from the characters, very minor directing issues. Pull the camera back a little bit, my guy. Honestly, this was a very good movie. I really enjoyed it.
I was very surprised.
Yeah.
Where would you rank this in the Creed? We'll
Compared
just
to
do
the
the
other-
Creed
the other
trilogy.
three?
We won't do the whole franchise. I think I would put it 2.
You put it where?
Number 2.
Number 2? I was going to say B, but that would basically be second place, in my opinion.
I'm not sure. I don't know, man. It's a hard question now that I think about it.
Yeah. Well, the thing, too, is that,
Because they all have their moments.
they all, yeah, for sure. I don't know. I feel like they're all solid Bs for me still.
Yeah.
Which is far more than I can say for most other franchises, that's for sure. To be 3 films deep and still be solid. With 3 different directors, too, I should say.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Maybe I just like Ryan Coogler a little bit
They all
more.
have their... what I like, too, is they all have their own distinct flair. To a degree.
Yeah, that's true. I think part of the reason why I didn't really like the second one too much is because I was like, okay, how many people have sons from the other Rocky films? Like, seriously? But other than that, it's like, I think they're all very good movies. And this one was definitely worth a watch.
Because I say that because they all follow the same formula, right?
They have to.
A goes to B, goes to C, go to D, in all 3 of these movies. And yet, there's just enough of the little slice of life,
For sure.
relationship stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like the first movie, Rocky has cancer. It's like, whoa. Second movie is, he's dealing
The
with the father, the murder of the father, and also Bianca's pregnant.
Yeah.
And then in this one, obviously, there's
His
the
backstory.
stuff that we've talked about, the backstory and all that.
With Damien. I also always have to give a shout out. I love. I think I have talked plenty about my love of deaf actors and the inclusion of deaf characters, and so this movie basically got an A+ from the start, just for that alone. Real sign language. Always appreciate that when it is used. Just want to say that.
Yeah.
I'm a little biased.
Shout out to the Mexican representation in this movie. I will always shout out when a character speaks Spanish.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a spoiler alert to say that he gets beaten up. I felt a little bad. I was like,
By the way,
all
there's
right,
no way.
Dave.
That's a real boxer.
He is, yeah.
He's not anywhere close to a heavyweight. So I
What
don't know
can
what
you-
they were thinking doing that.
I mean, his entrance was
I
pretty
guess
cool.
it makes sense because it's like, you
Yeah.
know, we can't get an actual heavyweight because they're so much bigger than Michael B. Jordan and
Yeah,
Jonathan Majors.
seriously.
That's why the second movie, I remember when he was like, oh, yeah, he's challenging for the heavyweight title. I was like, there's no way that dude's a heavyweight. There's no way that's a heavyweight.
Honestly, that's how I felt at the end of this one, where I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, Jonathan Majors would beat him up in real life. Are you kidding me?
It's like,
Look
these
at the size of those two.
dudes are, yeah, no, there's no, these
Squash
guys are
him.
not heavyweights.
Outside of that, yeah, no, this is a very solid movie.
Are you
I'd say.
excited to see where
Where it
Michael B.
goes?
Jordan's directing career goes?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like, I mean, this one was done well enough. Honestly, all the fundamentals were there, my guy. So I feel like he just has to, if he sticks with sports, I think that would be very promising.
He might be our generation's sports star. You know how
In terms
you know,
of
like the '80s had action heroes.
Mhm.
Michael B. Jordan might be the sports guy.
He-
Just an idea. I'm just gonna float that out there. I would hate for that to be the case,
Yeah,
but it's an idea.
it's an idea. He doesn't have action hero vibes.
Yeah, because even I feel like
He has everyman vibes.
yeah,
You know, I remember seeing a tweet where it was like Michael B. Jordan feels like the kind of guy who knows where his birth certificate is. And I'm like, yeah, that's just an everyman character. You know, like, well, like we're gonna see him on like Lifetime, you know, TV movies. You know, playing the good husband, something like that. He has those vibes.
Friday Night Lights is still his best role.
You think so?
No, no,
I was
Killmonger.
gonna say Fruitvale Station.
No, it's definitely Fruitvale Station.
Yeah. All right. I don't have much else to say, man.
Nor do
It was
I.
a good movie.
Very good movie. I give it a solid
Far better
B
than Ant-Man.
plus, A minus.
Yeah, I give it a solid B. I'd say definitely B plus at least. Definitely, I think Jonathan Major redeemed himself for Ant-Man: Quantumanium.
I thought he was the best part of that movie.
You did? I thought
I
Michael
thought
Douglas
he was the only good part of that movie.
I liked Michael Douglas a little bit in that film. I definitely did not like Bill Murray. That's for sure.
I didn't like any of the male characters other than Jonathan Majors.
Understandable. Maybe because I know the comics and that character is just like one of the worst villains possible. That I'm just like, nah, leave me out of this.
Oh, the Bill Murray character? Or?
No, Kong, the Conqueror.
Yeah, he seems. Are we transitioning to an Ant-Man review now?
No, we're not.
He seems like a stupid idea for the big bad.
Yeah, I did not like that.
I read on
whatsoever.
him. I read up on him. On the wiki page. I was like, well, this is just no fun.
Yeah, pretty much. Especially because like his whole thing is trying to stop himself from becoming himself, but that creates more versions of himself. I'm like, look, I know you want to go multiverse, but like just tone it down a little bit.
The
Bring it.
scale is getting too big.
Yeah, it's getting way too big, man.
Also, you got beat by ants, bro. Like
How powerful can you
You're not
possibly
really
be?
an Avengers level threat.
Yeah. Not yet.
You'd be lucky to be the damn
Not yet.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Miles Teller, Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
That's not going anywhere.
not even the OG Fantastic Four. That's how bad you are.
Yeah. But John Krasinski, Fantastic Four, you think? No, not at
As
all.
long as Emily Blunt is Sue Reed.
No, this is not an Ant-Man review. That movie got a straight D for me.
That's very fond. That's very complimentary of you.
You think so?
I got an F.
F? It's just
It did nothing for me.
the entomology nerd in me. I love a few facts about ants, and so they reference E.O. Wilson a few times. He wrote the book on ants. Literally, his book is called Ants.
Nice.
So they gave him a few shout outs, moves it up to a D for me.
Every time, I thought Jonathan Majors was the best part, and then Paul Rudd would open his mouth, and I was like, "You just ruined everything. Go away."
Outside of that, yeah. No,
All right.
not a good
Anyways,
movie.
that is the Ant-Man.
That's the Ant-Man.
That's the most you're getting out of Ant-Man out of us. All right, it's the most.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do we want to transition to Formula One qualifying?
We can.
We can, since we're gonna miss the first race.
We are gonna miss the first race.
Reviewing it, that is.
So yeah, this will probably come out Monday. So the race will have already happened. So you get to see our totally dumb
Predictions
or scary accurate predictions.
yeah, Hulkenberg. At least top 10 finish.
Anything surprise you? I'll go first. Ferrari having an actual strategy. Surprising.
Up until the end.
Well, they did that so that way they can have the extra
That's true.
soft tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. Most surprising thing was actually that Alonso qualified 5th. I thought he'd be higher. Unironically.
No,
I did.
I never thought. I thought
had faith.
Max P4, but it's
Really?
like Hamilton loses an arm halfway through the race.
You don't know Alonso like I do, man. That guy will go for the throat.
I don't know, man. Max is just first off that Red Bull was too fast.
Yeah,
and
seriously.
then there's George and Hamilton. Unfortunately, there's George. I'm just like, those guys are still good.
I think for the very first qualifying session of the year, the disparity between teammates was exactly where I thought it would be, which is sad because it shouldn't be that way until like the middle of the year. The fact that Magnussen got bottom 5 and Hulkenberg got, what did he finish, like
9?
7th
10?
or
Something like
no,
that.
he was like 8th or something ridiculous like that.
Stroll got 8. I
Okay.
remember that.
Okay, Stroll got 8th, so
Yeah.
yeah, he was around
He was top 10.
top 10.
Yeah. I think he was 10 actually.
I'm like, how's that?
Who knows?
Why is Ocon in the top 10 and Gasly in the bottom 5?
Last?
Doesn't-
His
yeah.
track time got deleted.
His time got deleted. No, he qualified in
Yeah.
like 19th, and then his time got deleted.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's too much at the beginning of the year. Either Hulkenberg is your number one driver and you just gave him the best car you could make, or he's just in a shit box like Magnussen and he just did better. I don't know. But
We'll never really know.
we'll never really know because it's Haas and chances are they won't get any points.
They'll die by Monaco.
Yeah.
They'll stop scoring points by Monaco.
I don't know. That's for me. Really, I'm just excited to see where those guys end up by the end of the race.
Are you excited for this season?
I'm excited because based off of this single qualifying session alone and Aston Martin's performance, if we get 4 teams at the top, that's better than the
2.5.
2.5 that we got last 2 years, really.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't really have any predictions for possible finishers, possible wins. I just want to see inter-team rivalry at the top. If I want to see Hamilton and Russell going at it, I want to see Perez and Verstappen going at it. If we get just one team dominating the year, I want it to be like Verstappen wins a race, Perez wins, Verstappen
You want
wins,
another
Perez
2016?
wins. Yeah, I want something like that.
They crash each other out in the last lap of
Yep, that's what I want.
Abu Dhabi.
And it decides the championship.
The
Leclerc
old
wins.
Senna versus Prost.
Pretty much, yep. That's what I want to see.
No, I think it makes for good TV.
I think
I just don't think. I think internally teams are like, we don't want to ever do that again.
no, that's fair.
I think
I just wanna see
2016 just got. Somebody write a book about that season, please. I would read that book in a heartbeat.
There's enough YouTube documentaries about
Yeah, I need to watch those.
Desert Fox, or Silver Fox is what it was called. But outside of that,
I'll make 2 predictions.
go ahead.
I'll make 3
All right,
spicy ones. I gave you one.
you did.
George wins 3 races. I feel
Which-
pretty confident about that.
I will repeat what I had said, which was last year. I had predicted Russell will win 1 race. It took until the second to last race of the year for him to do that. I feel like he can get 3 pole positions. but I don't think he will win 3 races. So that's my prediction.
Okay.
3 poles for Russell.
Alonso wins a race.
That I think is going to happen. For sure.
Perez finishes second.
In the championship? So you're not making no prediction for who wins the championship. It's just Perez will be second.
Well, I mean, okay. If we're gonna go, I mean, I was gonna
be
say Max number 1, but that was an easy one.
I mean, it could be Leclerc champion and then Perez second. That would be interesting to see.
No. I don't know. I
like,
want to believe,
yeah.
but I don't want to believe.
Red Bull has a bad habit of going through second drivers. And so I think Perez is solid enough that he can stake his claim in the team.
Yeah. I think he drives the wheels off of his car this year and just goes crazy.
That being said,
For the sake of competition, I hope so. It's not even like I'm a Perez fan.
that's what I felt watching qualifying. Verstappen got first and Perez got like 7th. And I was like, oh, here we go. This is just team disparity again. And then he matches Verstappen's time in Q3. And I'm like, all right, I was wrong. They're on equal footing.
He's like, I'm never letting Max pass again after Brazil.
He never gets through. Yeah.
He just blocks him the whole way down the straights.
I can see it. Yeah. I will predict that Verstappen will not finish at least 5 races this year.
There's 23 of them.
5 DNFs for Verstappen.
Interesting.
That's what I'm predicting.
He had, 3 last year? Dhabi, or Bahrain, Australia. And there was one more.
Was it Abu? No, was it?
No, that was
Azerbaijan. His tires popped.
That was 2 years ago.
Was that?
Yeah. When he kicked the tire.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm trying to think. I think it was it 2? Just 2? I feel like there was a third.
I feel like there was a third one, and I'm just misremembering it.
Anyways.
Man, 2021 was a good season. 2022 was a little... I don't really remember many races from last year.
Well, I mean, after France, when Charles crashed, it just kind of like, it was just kind of, when we would watch it, I'd just be like, all right, wake up, honey. It's your time for your dose of Formula 1.
Yeah, that's for you. But I don't know.
But there was some exciting stuff that happened in Formula 1 last year.
No, for sure. I just remember 2021 being like every race was just chaos.
You had to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
outside of
that's true.
No, I think it'll be a good season. I have high hopes. Definitely, with the new design of the cars, there are fewer races that just feel like parades.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that, more than anything, has just improved the last few years.
Because even if it's like, Max wins by 18 years, it's like, cool, but there's still a fight 4 through 7 that's worth watching.
It's definitely improved the midfield a lot more,
for
sure, I would say. Which I think has helped teams like Aston Martin and hurt teams like McLaren.
All right, NASCAR predictions, go.
NASCAR
Kyle Busch, let's go, baby.
You think so?
I don't know.
If his last name ends with Bush,
watch out.
watch out. There's enough of them.
Oh, man.
LMAO. No, outside of that, not much else. Yeah.
All right, IndyCar, go.
Oh, no, I don't know. I don't. Because if Grosjean's in it, yeah, sure.
Colton Herta. I don't know.
I was going to say Formula E.
All right, World Endurance Championship, go.
World Endurance Championship. Who won Daytona?
I have no idea.
Who won, not NASCAR,
that
but
was
24
IMSA.
hours.
I don't know. There were a lot of different classes.
Fair enough.
Very fun, though. I did watch a couple hours of it. I watched probably 3 or 4 of them. Watch the finish. Pretty interesting.
Always fun to watch.
Endurance racing is something else.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's like pure racing. And you get to watch it for 24 hours.
Yeah, that's always the best part.
It's like, oh, it's 2 a.m. Damn. I can watch this till I go to bed.
It's literally, somebody was like, man, I wish I could just race all day long. And the guy sitting next to him was like, let's do it.
Why
Why not? Yeah. Pretty much.
Here's the thing about being adults: we can do whatever we want.
Yeah. Nobody can stop us.
It's funny.
Anyway,
I think.
no more sports predictions.
All right, that's it for sports.
Yeah.
What else do we want to talk about? I'm
Avalanches win Stanley Cup. I don't know.
I'm just kidding. All right, well, that's it for us in our review of many things happening in this world.
Oh, Oscars are coming up. We won't make predictions until we review.
We'll just do a post-review
Yeah.
episode.
So don't get on us about that.
Yep.
Not just because we didn't see many of the films nominated, but honestly because I don't know if you agree with this, but some of the categories feel like pretty clear cut. Not much.
Well, now that we're actually through award season and like you
Yeah.
start to see the trends,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can see the winners.
Yeah.
For sure.
Too late to make predictions at this point.
Yeah.
We'll be more surprised post award
Yeah.
show then. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest too.
We don't care.
We don't care. Honestly, I got an ad for it. No, Jimmy Kimmel showed up on TV telling, "Hey guys, make sure you check out the Oscars." And I was like, you know what?
No.
Maybe I won't. Just for you, Jimmy
If
Kimmel.
I was in town, I would say we should do a live episode
Yeah,
or like a 3-hour long simulcast. But
probably not.
I won't
Nope.
be here.
Nope.
So we'll just do a post review and we'll talk about the Oscars then. Until then, stay
watch.
clean, stay dry, stay cold or warm. Sorry.
Stay healthy.
Stay healthy. Tuck the kids in at night.
Eat your vegetables.
Eat your vegetables. Take your vitamins. And have a wonderful time of day, depending on when you watch it. Farewell.